So we are on our way to Kodaikanal, just climbing the ghat. Already started just climbing the ghat about 6 kilometers ago, but I just stopped on the way to just hook up the camera. And it's a great day. I mean, there was my phone popped up an alert that there's going to be rain later today, but so far it's good. I've been riding all night. I left from Bangalore at about midnight, and it's now like quarter to 11. The highways were excellent. Like even the riding all night, I think I had no issues at all with other road users. Unlike riding to Bangalore, which was a very different story. So that was good as well. The only thing is, yes, riding without speed. I mean, I did have a bit of a day nap yesterday. It was like 2.5 hours in the afternoon. But yeah, that's pretty much all the rest that I got yesterday, other than a good night's sleep. Um, so there was a bit of exhaustion at one point when I stopped to make a break. Uh, and this was also the first time in my riding in India where a restaurant owner asked me to not rest in his restaurant because like I had already purchased something and I had consumed it, but I was just like wanted to put my head down and like close my eyes for a few minutes, and I think about 15 or 20 minutes in, he said, "Sorry, you can't do that here. It's only the restaurant. You can't like rest here." So thankfully, though, that rest was enough for me, and I got going. But immediately after that rest, I had a bit of a nasty surprise. My bike's this old problem, which I thought was resolved last week before I set off from Mumbai, cropped up again. Basically, the battery sometimes does not charge while being ridden. Now, the last time when the problem was there, I'm not sure if it was sometimes or all the time, but basically the battery was getting progressively drained. That was in Mumbai. Now it seemed intermittent. So my first few was when riding at night. There were times when I noticed the headlight was getting dim and then bright, which should not have happened because it's a LED headlight, very low wattage compared to like the 60 watt that this bike should be able to drive off a perfectly running system. And on top of that, later on, like after sunrise, I noticed a couple of times when I honked and the sound was either really people or not at all, which I should have taken as a warning sign, but I thought maybe it's the connection with the horn. I didn't put two plus two together and associate the headlight going dim and horn not sounding or not sounding well. But the bike was riding absolutely fine with no taints of any issues until like after that sort of cut short rest trip, when I got back on the bike, put it into neutral, and the moment I touched the brake before running the electric start, the neutral light basically got really dim, indicating that the battery voltage was really low. Obviously, the electric start didn't run at all. In fact, just trying the electric start once killed the battery to the point where the neutral light wouldn't even glow. It was a frantic 5 minutes of like kicking, taking a break, kicking. Eventually, the bike did start. And then the other issue was riding slightly aggressively, like during an overtake, just accelerating hard, caused it to stop firing or basically misfire. I don't know whether it was misfiring or just not firing at all, but basically the bike lost power. And so it could be that accelerating hard for too high of a current draw on the electronics of the bike, and when it's not charging, that's like enough to bog the bike down. So I have to basically ride up this ghat carefully, doing my best to not let the engine cut off, because obviously if the engine cuts off, then it's luck of the die whether I can use the electric start or quick start. Now, thankfully, so far, after the issue presented itself, I decided that since I don't know how much fuel is in my bike, turns out it was about 5 liters. I decided to tank up. So obviously at that point I had to stop the engine, and I thought because I've stopped the engine, I'll make the most of the break. So I called up Harshad, informed him the situation, put on my navigation, put my other phone on charge because that phone's like kind of drained. Unfortunately, my power bank is not fully charged, but like I think 1.5 battery of charge, this fully charged phone and the other partly charged phone will be enough. After the situation, he told me where to find a mechanic in Kodaikanal, which is basically going to be my goal for now. Get the bike there and then, try and get it resolved. Worst case, I've told her that I have to find jump cables, a toolkit which can take off the side panels, and if possible, a spare battery. So, or, if not a spare battery, I'll probably end up using bike's battery. But basically, in case I'm stranded, I cannot even keep it back. But yeah, that's the plan for now. Ride ease, don't ride too hard. As you can see, this is not my usual riding. Bolero just overtook me, and now Santro is about to. So it's fine. I'll go for better at time. It was getting the camera going was a exercise in itself. One hand on the throttle, other hand doing everything from like fitting the camera out of the bag, hooking it up to the helmet. Oh, the horn's gone down, so it need to start diving. I need to resist the instinct to use the horn. I know it comes naturally to be, especially when someone honks at you and I'm listening to the honk, but the brake slides. So before I called Harshad, I was actually riding using engine braking to avoid running the brake lights. But when I called Harshad, I disconnected my brake lights. So yeah, can use the brakes without being what for. Wow, look at that. This is what riding calmly gets you. Some real stupid driving I've witnessed on the road today. I mean, not just today, actually, over the course of this trip. But I would say, yeah, riding to Bangalore, that was stupidity of one sense. And then riding out from Bangalore, I think it's a different kind of stupidity I've witnessed on the road. So, riding to Bangalore, I think it is just cars just insistent on overtaking no matter what. Like, never giving a full lane or a full bike lane to pass. Like, before they even fully pass you, they are already moving into your path, and at no point are they ever not in your lane. So it's like, it's almost like a close pass on a cycle. But that was getting to Bangalore, and then getting out of Bangalore, of course, because it was after midnight, the kind of more stupid drivers were not on the road. Thankfully, I think for their own good and everybody else's, that they don't drive at night. So then it was stupidity of another sort, like people just making absolute random decisions. Like I had one hair-raising moment where a driver of some 4x4, I think it was a car or something, or a Mahindra, just randomly in the middle lane of the 3 lanes available to drive, just stopped and then abruptly took a 90-degree left turn onto the service road in the middle of that highway with like me coming at him in full speed. Like crazy. And then yeah, we have some other crazy things like there was that I forgot what car it was, but basically car literally playing chicken with like a bus, and yeah, even the bus stopped up at car, and I guess that's like saying something. But yeah, there are the highways are good in terms of road condition, but in terms of just having things thought through, the yield room be desired. Especially the bit where I have turned off the 4 lane sort of 844 or 843, I think it was one of the two, and onto this one, which not this one, the one before this, NS 183, I think. And so the NH 183 is 2 lanes, and they have strategically placed barriers every, I don't know, few kilometers or so. But the barriers are placed in such a way that only one vehicle can pass at a time, and basically forcing vehicles to place again, which is ridiculous. I mean, why do you want to even do that? Like, why place such barriers where you're forcing vehicles to go single file and sort of head into each other's path? And then, of course, the vehicle drivers are no better because they actually play chicken with each other. So it's like, yeah, some really crazy stuff. And then there are, of course, even people who try to even stop that by, in this situation where you see an oncoming vehicle and someone's going to have to stop, a third vehicle from behind will try to overtake one of the vehicle has to be stopped. I mean, what level of, I don't know, they're addicted to me. But yeah, it kind of people we have here on the road. Honestly, I think riding in India, the roads available, the people, not so much. There's one thing that I would sort of, I got the score that breaks the camel back and puts me off touring in India. It would be the inconsiderate and sort of illogical driving. Really, I don't know why. Like, obviously, trusts their law to themselves, but the entire 844, or at least whatever bits of it are 6 lanes, like the bits that I've been riding this trip, which is like basically from Karnataka onward to like Tamil Nadu. Actually, not so much Tamil Nadu than Karnataka. The trucks always stay in the middle of the 3 lanes. So they, they basically stay in the middle of the 3 lanes, which doesn't make sense whatsoever. They're the slowest moving truck, basically. And then the fast moving trucks are supposed to like overtake them, and they inevitably overtake them from the right, leaving the leftmost lane free for anybody else to overtake, which is like explained, right? You overtake from the left, okay, that's bad, but now forcing people to overtake from both sides. And at least the drivers on this leg of the trip have not been so aggressive with their overtaking, but there were examples where you're in a situation where nobody can overtake, but they will still be kind of let this guy go. Although like again to keep up, or you want to they want to put the bike, but oh yeah, go, yeah. The weather's been pretty good. No sign of rain, nice and bright sunshine. If it does rain, I have my rain cover for my tank bag, which is handy. I think I could have left more handy because unfortunately zipping up the tank bags with one hand is not an easy task. In fact, it's probably the most cleaned up. So let's see. But if I'm supposed to, okay, cool. Yeah, enjoy your moment. So yeah, if it starts raining, I do have to protect my tank bag because it's got everything of value in it. Water to go, power bank, headphone. I really shouldn't have carried along on this trip. I don't know what I was thinking, but now that they're here, I have to protect it. What else? Very nothing more. But oh yeah, there's a power tank of yeah, overall the trip's been sort of bit of ups and downs. Like my first leg of the trip, Mumbai to Goa, I left it to the last minute to decide, and literally, like when it was time to turn off the JNPT road onto either the Pune exit or the Goa highway exit, I took a decision to take the Goa highway exit because I've been riding via the Pune route for a very long time. In fact, the last time I rode the Goa highway was before the Belfast move, and I think it was a return route from Goa to Mumbai when I was on that highway. And back then, I think the pole laning bit was like barely started. So the uh, the reason why I remember very distinctly, the moment I decided to turn off that highway was when my mudguard broke due to unmarked rumblers, and like the big rumbler, not the tiny one that you're thankfully are using now. But if I remember correctly, the remaining half of the mudguard is still on the bike, but I don't know for how long because it is fairly cracked, and I think it is probably beyond repair. Maybe a bit of patchwork to extend its life, but yeah, probably not going to stay there for very long. And I haven't really thought about what I do once it comes off. Like, do I need a mudguard? I don't want to like subject the engine to whatever my wheel goes at it. But on the other hand, maybe if I'm not going to be riding in the monsoon, there is going to be too much road ride. And I am doing a Goa ride, then yeah, half a month out from but yeah, and yeah, after I got to Goa, so the ride to Goa was weirdly timed. I started off at 9:30 in the morning, which is usually an absolute no-no for me. But the good time it was like I wanted to make sure I was well rested. Although I wasn't, I didn't sleep a wink that night. Uh, but I was mentally well rested. So I just kind of uh, got ready, loaded the bike at 9. It was off. Uh, and because I wanted to feel well rested, I basically did not Kodaikanal? Kodaikanal? Yes. So I basically, oh, that is not a good situation. Right. So here comes the problem. Okay. So now go then on. You can use the front base because not connector. Oh, oops. No. That was it. The last crank. Okay. So now he's starting the bike on a bit. Not the kind of thing I want to do, but I have to do it. At least we have it captured on the GoPro for good measure. For memory's sake. Right. Take a deep breath. And off we go. Back in the way. Yeah, now that he has talking about the ride. Uh, where was I? Yeah. So took the Goa highway on a whim because I know like a lot of the Goa highway has been 4 laned, and the bit that I've ridden on so far has always been good. So I wanted to check it out for myself. And because I was riding in the day, I thought, how bad should it be? Turns out not that bad, but the bit that was bad was really bad. So the only bit that I struggled with was the section which basically was not done at all, completely unsurfaced code for about. That is not a safe move, but right. And very moving to be good. So the bits that was bad was really bad, in the sense and was about 40 to 45 kilometers of unsurfaced road, like 90% unsurfaced and 10% surface, or maybe 95 unsurfaced and 5 surface. And it was also the worst time for me to that because it was, I think, so it started before my dinner breaks. So at about 9:30 or so, I took my dinner break at 10, and I took a very relaxed dinner break. I think I took an hour and a half. It was a really good dinner actually, and in fact so good that I actually told City that it is a really good dinner. So after the dinner break, and I actually took my dinner break at a section where the highway, that small 5% where the highway was good, because I thought the back side was over, and like relax, have dinner, and then get on. But little did I know that was only the beginnings, and it got progressively worse, like it really was bad sort of code. It was unsurfaced road, which was uneven, full of packed of gravel. Uh, yeah, the works. Uh, so after dinner, like 11:30 onwards, I think I was on the bad road till about 2 in the morning, or actually maybe even more than that. Because let's say it's not count the break. I think I took 2 breaks in the bad section because it was just too bad. And like finally, when I took my second break, it was like maybe 5 kilometers away from, not five, maybe 2 or 3 kilometers away from the end of the bad section, and that's when my bike went into reserve as well. Now, without a fuel raise, obviously you have no indication of when you're going to go into reserve, so that was another scary thing. And it was an uphill section, so uphill reserve with no idea of how much fuel I had left, and basically, I was under the impression that my carb was overflowing. I thought my carb was choked and it was overflowing, because every time I stopped the bike, I would see petrol flowing down the side until I closed the petcock. But yeah, so it was consuming way more petrol than expected as well. But I thought that was just my bike being my bike and the carb being sort of what it is. But it turned out that was not the issue. So when I reached Goa and I took it to a mechanic, he says your carb is fine, your fuel line actually has a crack, and it was quite a bad crack. So I guess I had been dripping petrol on the entire highway all the way from Mumbai to Goa. Yeah, it should be a bit of a crazy thing, but explains why I only got 2/3 of the distance to Goa on a full tank. But anyway, like petrol tube replaced, which was another saga in itself, but let's not get into that. I thought that was the only problem with the bike. But then riding from Goa to Bangalore, there were 3 moments when the bike died on me, and it died with like all electricals going off. So the first time was with the bike moving, and it just stopped firing, headlights off, stat off, neutral. I mean, obviously it wasn't in neutral, everything off, and but then everything just came back 3 seconds later. So the bike jump started itself, and we're back on our way. Red light on, everything on. The battery wasn't drained at that point, so uh, like everything was like nice and bright and whatever. But it was basically it went off. Then about an hour later, I think I had stopped for a break. Oh no, I stopped at a traffic light. So I was like inside Bangalore and stopped at a traffic light. The bike was idling and suddenly died. And it died. I put it in neutral and the neutral light didn't come on. So I pushed it to the side of the road and turned it off, turned it on again, and everything was back. And the bike started, all good. And then the third time the incident happened was basically I had to stop the bike to take a break and basically to share my live location, Kamina, and switch it back on, wouldn't come on. Again, saying no diesel light. So switch it off, switch it on a couple of times, and then it was fine. But of course, because of that I didn't want to ride with a bike in a dodgy place, so I decided to not ride the next wave, which is yesterday, and instead just sort of get it sorted with the mechanic. So that was really weird again. So I was able to start the bike, get it out of the apartment building onto the road, and then barely 100 meters in, the bike died and kept starting to go to the hill. And oh yeah, sorry, the electric start wasn't like the electric start died in Goa, and I purchased a part, but the mechanic couldn't fit it because of the Diwali holidays. So thankfully the mechanic was right there. So I just pushed the bike to the mechanic, and he was able to fix it. I also told him about the bike randomly dying issue, and he saved it was because the spark plug cable was either not connected properly or not in good shape. But we didn't ask for the spare part, so whatever it was, he came with it. And yeah, that problem hasn't really presented itself again. But now we have a new problem, which is what it was there, which is what I was struggling with. So by basically randomly starting the battery, and while it's moving, you obviously have no indicator because there's nothing really visible to indicate the battery is being dragged around. But the problem is when you stop, it's you don't know whether it's going to start again. So that's a bit limit. The objective is get to put air and then put in a granite there and it's been recommended. And fingers crossed. I mean, the worst case backup plan is Harsha's riding. So I mean, Harsha can ride there. So if for whatever reason the mechanic is going to need some time, we can leave the bike there. I can pop all my gear on this bike and do like the 1.5 hour ride to his and he does the 1.5 hour ride to his place, and then I get back and then I go on the electric bike. It's it's so weird, the irony, like when I was unable to sleep on Saturday night, Sunday morning, I wrote a blog post about me having concern, like it might not about whether I'm ready for the ride and the bike is ready for the ride. Honestly, at that point, I got a bike ready and I was on. But as status turned out, I'm doing this fine. This is the bike that is in. I mean, and at that point, the only dent that I had was that the quote unquote overflowing carb slash UG petrol, which was actually the least of my worries. I mean, just not charging, but is a problem that I thought was solved. The rectifier will replace, and especially the mechanics claimed that it was good, and it was, right? It worked perfectly fine for all, right? Uh, the yeah, the one way it literally gave way in Goa, and it was fixed in Bangalore. So that's another problem which I didn't know was coming. It presented itself. It's quote unquote out of the way. Let's see what happens. But after all this, nearly all better off. I mean, somewhere along the way, along the ride, one of my sort of ideal thoughts was that I was not enjoying the ride. It was, I think, that Bangalore aggressive rider traffic that, kind of really put me off. And I was thinking, like, no, this is something that I wanted to tick off the box because every year I do a Goa ride and kind of monotonous in the sense settle to familiar territory, pushing me for a day, but then I know like I'm playing that repetitively. Uh, I wanted to do something more adventurous. I think this was like off the beaten path, taking the Goa highway after like I don't know how many years. Like off the beaten path. Uh, all of the ride after Goa is then off the beaten path. Like I go out to Bangalore. I didn't go by what Google Map said. I put my own waypoint, which was at the Yellapur. Even for Yellapur, Google Maps was suggesting a different route, but I took a turn off from the I toy, which may not have been the best route. I think I've only added about 50 kilometers, if not 90 my route. But yeah, I mean, I just put it on my motor. So yeah, headings. Now that I think about it, okay, Kodaikanal is still can be parents sort of different thing. So it's a good feeling to ride on your own terms, to ride with no pressure, to say that I can turn back whenever I want to, and though theoretically right now that may not be possible. Yeah. Practically right now that may not be possible, but theoretically, yeah, this is thing that if I was unhappy with the bike in Goa, I don't claim that. Years unhappy with the bike in Bangalore, I did turn back. And funnily enough, like while I was riding, I was so happy with the bike, the famous that word and all that I was literally googling, like seeing the sign for was like Kanyakumari on the age 42. Age 42. That I thought from Kodai, how about I to Kanyakumari? And then once I'm at Kanyakumari, how about taking the coastal route back? So, yeah, Kochi, Tanni, Bangalore, and Udupi, Bokapana, not exactly Bokapana, but yeah, the route, Goa, and then home. Maybe home via Pune, just to like enough. But yeah, the only problem is that can both me that once I be, because I want to give myself a teacher really put out. That would be like 5 days of continuous riding, which honestly, I don't think I could put myself that much. Given that so far it's been 1 day of riding, 2 rest days, 1 day of riding, 1 rest days, and then let's see, yeah, how many rest days? Yeah, so maybe not push my luck too far. And the second problem is obviously it's not about me, it's about the bike. I'm still tempted to do the coastal route from Kodai to a set straight to the route is Bangalore, I think, is probably the nearest point to Indigo Coast. And take the old Goa highway, whatever they call it now, to Goa. And then, Padaba, PDMS, Kura, Vipodari, take again, what I knew about Mumbai. So, yeah, I mean, there's still options open. Thankfully for me, I have time. And if I don't put that into planning weird stop to my hotel, I guess I have time to, it's whatever problem. Diwali is over. So that's one of the things that kind of got in the way of doing his photography in Goa. And Diwali holiday for next week should be a good YouTube like whenever the mechanics are available, they will be in. Wherever the mechanics will be available, you don't have to worry about whenever the mechanics are available. That's it. I think the little there. But yeah, those replay stuff I just talk about. Anything can happen. It seems. Then Kirk out there with a motor Kodaikanal. And they changed on to the BSNL office. Till the day we I don't hold it very close to the very kilometer. And honestly, I think at this point, if I get there and I take a break or the bike stop, and then I have to pick the bike up and to the airport, and I can load it up. But yeah, the main measure of push that one. But yeah, like Kali might be waiting sort of end of a little life. It's almost 14 in Jan and 15 birthday in 4th of Jan from 27 is Leslie. He's gonna be a different, and then it's up to me to decide what to do. So just give him the problem like she gave me. I'll consider my option. We'll see at like finding a less waste decent than become out. Even if after the guys serve my still net tens. Goodbye. Goodbye. The invent can join the whole. Right. Theoreticals, it's calm. None of the problems that can't be solved, but let me end up one of that. Let's see. Get so in first also anything get no. And I also want to not to take too long the trip because I still have to leave in Mumbai and fly back. And the main objective of the trip was get to Kodai. The objective is within an hour reach and push, and not Kodai, but like a first place which I get a few an hour and a half from Sarai. But yeah, it's close enough, Honestly, if I turn around at this point, I took for it. Yeah. No, it's just man säger att det börjar och generalen and free unbelievable. But yeah, this took how been a bit the fulfillness can kind of keep him alienated in terms of managing that. And one way or the other, I'm going to come out of this better. Really, the stuff that I've done, I think it's like the expression said, right? Onward and upwards. I think in the last few weeks, I've been an onward and upwards trajectory for me. Like earlier, it was work. It was a bit of a low when it's been to the flight somewhere in by Dublin, but I think that's fine. I really took it. I put at it from like multiple angles, and I still kind of came to it without feeling that. I think that's a good. And that's a be part of the dance. And then dealing with the Mumbai by the UK work hours when that's explicitly what I've been advised from it. Deal with my fatigue, trying to do things in the day, not getting enough breaks, not getting enough rest, no regular meal tiredness, not sort of maintaining my sleep discipline. And I still deal with all that. Really is heartening, like hard work. Partly, but wait, other we can do it. Come on, go. There you go, it's all yo. Make it. Illipa and guys Illipa. I mean, the last year and a half has been silence, and have been waiting for things to look up. Holy can you talk? That was a global down. Okay, this is not what I want to think about. Something on off the bike. You to the airport. On the bike. Oh, that fucking food. Right, you're not going anywhere. Okay, so it's time to end the recording, I guess. Oh yeah, funny indeed without the doctor. Okay, this is a kind of spin rope. Nice, this is just wear and tear, it's a big beam. But yeah. This is the first ever tool slap or tool skill of this bike stay. And what a way to do it, right? What a way to do it. The road is sure the metal. And things last well, right? I said if I make it this far, I will consider it a success. Sure, he has some keys. There we go. Right. So time to. Yeah, I see the neutral light going dim. Not a good sign. But yeah, time to take a break from recording and focus on the task at hand. So maybe I'll continue the recording later. If luck has resolved, I have enough energy to resolve things. But until then, it's me signing off for now. Cheers to everything that life throws against us. Here you go. All right, signing off. Bye bye.